Good Friday morning. Good Friday morning. It is a nice sunny Friday morning here in Northwest Georgia. The sun is shining, the pollen is pollinating. We look like a bunch of lemon pepper chicken around here right now. You leave your car for a few minutes and it's yellow again. If you clean it off, it's yellow. You clean it off, it's yellow. And a lot of people have issue with pollen right now, allergies and that sort of thing. And here's a little interesting fact that you may not have known is that the allergic response that a lot of people have to pollen is actually responds well to hypnotic suggestion in relieving a lot of the issues and symptoms that go along with that. But that's not what this video is about. So, you know, a little extra there at no charge, right? But thank you all for joining me here on this Friday morning. It's been a few days since we've had a chance to do a live video. And I wanted to take this opportunity today to do this one. And it's a thought that I've been ruminating on over the last few days, thinking about some of the people and places that I have come from, and working with a few clients this past week has helped solidify this thought process today. And so today I want to talk about how it's time to learn who you actually are and to begin unlearning who they told you to be. You know, there comes a moment that can be quite traumatic, jarring. And it's when you realize that a lot of what you've been calling your personality, a lot of what you've been calling your preferences, a lot of what you've been calling your journey, your path, your direction, your goals, it's not really yours. When you stop and think about it, you discover that it's just a patchwork of programming that has been placed in your life. It's a borrowed identity, actually. It's a cobbled together set of expectations that are stitched into place by voices that were louder than your own. This comes to you in many ways, from family, from teachers, from culture, from religious beliefs, from media, from algorithms, from authority figures. All of these people have told you who you are, who you're supposed to be. They've told you how to behave. They've told you what success should look like. They've told you what failure means. They told you what to believe. They told you how to feel. They told you who to trust and who to be afraid of. And you, just like all of the rest of us, have absorbed it. Not because you're weak, not because you're foolish, but because you were young, you were impressionable, you've been wired to survive, you've been conditioned to attach, you've had the need to belong, but now you're old enough. You're old enough to know better. You've outgrown these scripts. You've started to notice the cracks. You sense this misalignment between who you pretend to be and who you really are beneath all of that noise, beneath the mask. And if you're watching this video, you're here with me, it's probably because something inside of you is ready to finally wake up. And that's where I come in to help a lot of folks. That's why I call myself the UnHypnotist. It's not because I have some magic spell or some sacred scroll or I can teach you a secret handshake, but it's because I've spent years, decades, helping people unlearn all of this garbage that's been welded to their soul. The thing is, you don't need more self-help. You don't need any gurus. You don't need self-discovery. You can't become who you're meant to be until you stop performing the role they've handed you to perform. And you can't stop performing that role until you see it clearly for what it is, a negative trance. So as I said, today I want this video to help you discover who you really are and to unlearn what they want you to be. They. We hear a lot about they, right? They said this, they say that, they want us to do this, they don't want us to do that. And we hear a lot about they. So let's see who they really are. Now, to be brutally honest, they are usually not an outside force as far as some dark cabal, some secret society, some group of the elite that's trying to get you to bow to their every will. Sometimes they are actually well-meaning people who are just as lost and just as hypnotized as you. They could be parents that have projected their fears onto you. They could be teachers that have graded your worth by how quiet and compliant you can be. They could be pastors or priests or spiritual leaders that have preached more fear than freedom. They could be coaches who valued performance over presence. They could be friends who only stuck around when you fit their mold. They shaped you without your consent. And you spent years trying to fit into all of those boxes that you never chose. Wanting you to be someone that you're not created to be. But then what happens when you outgrow those boxes? What happens when your body screams no to what your mouth keeps saying yes to? What happens when your nervous system rebels every time you walk into another room pretending to be someone you're not? More than likely you shut down. You numb out. You feel lost. That's what happens when you betray your authentic self too many times. So, this is not just a nice idea. This is not motivational fluff. If there's plenty of that out there on the internet, you can search up all kind of stuff and you can find all of the motivational fluff, all of the pep talks you need. But this is not that. If you want that, this channel's not for you. This channel is where we talk about the brain and brain science, and that's what I want to talk about today, because you've been conditioned. You've been conditioned unconsciously, subconsciously, however you want to refer to your unconscious mind. You've been conditioned to live according to someone else's script. You've been hypnotized. Because hypnosis is basically creating an emotion, giving a suggestion, reinforcing that suggestion with more emotion. And hypnosis in the therapeutic sense that I've talked about several times is simply hyper-focused attention. And that is how the world has kept you in a trance. School was hypnosis. I'm sorry, teachers. I'm sorry, school administration, but school and education in America is hypnosis. Religion, when weaponized, is hypnosis. All of the media, all of the marketing, all of the fear-based messaging that you see is hypnosis. It's all hypnosis. You got to be a strong man. You got to be a good girl. Don't cry. Work harder. Don't ask questions. It's all hypnosis. And not all of it is malicious. Not all of it is bad. Not all of it is a problem, but it's how a system preserves itself. And if hypnosis can be used that way, it can also be used to undo all of these old patterns. It can be used to help you reclaim the power that you gave away before you even knew you had any power. You've been under a trance of it's not enough. Most of the people that I work with are wrestling with the same trance underneath all of the surface level issues. Everything that anybody comes to see me for that they want help with is a symptom. There are underlying issues in the unconscious mind that run much deeper than all of these surface level symptoms. It's that trance that it's just not enough. I'm not smart enough to homeschool my kids. I'm not smart enough to start a business. I'm not attractive enough to deserve love. I'm not strong enough to break these habits. I'm not spiritual enough to trust myself. The thing is, where did all these beliefs come from? Nowhere natural. You didn't exit the womb wondering if you were enough. That is a taught feeling. You were taught to believe that. And now your mind filters everything through that lie. So it feels like the truth because you've told yourself that lie so much that it feels like the truth to you. And it's scary about what the future is going to hold when you're letting go of that thought. It feels like the truth, but it's not. It's a program. It's a negative trance. It's a operating system that you can delete. It's one that you have to delete if you ever want to finally meet the real you. You've got to start unlearning. You've got to break that negative trance. So how do you do that? How do you do that? Well, let's get practical for a minute. How do you break the trance? How do you learn who you are and unlearn who they told you to be? First thing you got to do is get still. Get still enough to actually hear your own voice. You cannot hear the truth in the middle of constant distraction. The constant scroll on your phone, the tablets, the computers, the bombarding yourself with a 24/7 news feed. All of that next dopamine hit, everything about it is designed to keep you from yourself. You've got to be still. You've got to start creating a time of sacred silence. Now, it doesn't have to be hours in a monastery, in meditation. It doesn't even have to be an hour. It can start with 5 minutes in the car before you go inside to work, or you go inside home when you get home, or before you go in the store. Take 3 to 5 minutes. Or on break at work, take a couple of minutes. And just quiet yourself. Allow things to quieten down. Get still. Put your phone down. And get still and quiet. And listen. And ask yourself, if no one else was watching, what would I do today? Now, the first time that you hear your own voice speak to you clearly, it's going to feel like meeting an old friend. And this old friend never stopped believing in you. It may be unrecognizable at first because it's been so long since you've heard that voice. But get still. Put the phone down and ask yourself, if no one else was watching, what would I do today? Then you've got to begin questioning every should. Or as I like to tell my clients, it's time to stop shoulding on yourself. Anytime you think or say the word should regarding something that you feel like you have to do, I should be farther along than I am. I should be more successful than I am. I should be more positive than I am. I should want this instead of that. Who says? Is that your voice or is it theirs? Start replacing the word should with other words. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I'm a big proponent of positive communication and reinforcing how we communicate with our unconscious mind. You've got to stop shoulding on yourself and instead replace that word with want or need or choose. I want to slow down. I choose to say no. I need more rest. That one word shift will make a massive change in reclaiming the authentic you. And then you've got to learn to embrace brutal honesty. I've got a couple of brutal honest meditations. I've got another one I'm working on to be posting here soon. So make sure you hang out for that. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate it if you would. We're really close to 100 subscribers now. But you've got to be brutally honest and embrace brutal honesty. You can't heal what you keep pretending doesn't exist. Start calling things what they are. If your job drains your soul, say it. If your relationship is built on performance, admit it. If your habits don't align with your own values, own that. Truth is messy, especially at first. But truth is where you're going to heal. Because when you stop lying to yourself, you stop needing to live in reaction to everyone else. And then you're going to start using tools to rewire your brain, not just inspire you. That's the problem. That's why most people don't stick with anything. It's why they can't be consistent, is because they seek motivation. They look to be inspired. If they just don't feel inspired, then they're not going to do it. You don't need another dopamine hit of motivation. You need some deep integration. And that's where tools like hypnotherapy, multi-channel eye movement integration, emotional freedom technique and tapping, and subconscious coaching are powerful. They go deeper than all of this conscious affirmations and motivational fluff that's out there. They're more powerful than the power of positive thinking. Because when you start using tools like this, you're not just treating symptoms. We don't treat symptoms here. We're accessing your operating system. And that's where real change happens. That's where real change lives. So who are you? Who are you really? I mean, that's the $1 million question, right? Not what do you do? Not who do people say that you are? Not what your Enneagram number is. If anybody's wondering, mine's an 8. Not what your personality profile or your disc profile is. But who are you? When no one's looking, who are you? Who are you when you're not performing? Who are you when you take the mask off? Who are you when you're not afraid to be yourself? Who are you without the titles, without the trauma, without the programming? You are not your weight. You are not your diagnosis. You are not your income. You are not your religious trauma. You are not your followers. You are not your fears. And you are not your past, your history. You are consciousness. You are potential. You are power. You are created on purpose for a purpose. And sometimes we forget that. And if you're someone that has forgotten that, I hope this video helps wake you up to realize that. To break that trance. That negative trance. That false programming. That false self. And when you break that trance, when you start getting rid of that false self, to start with, people are not going to know what to do with you. That's okay. I promise you it is. Some people will resist. Some people will leave. Let them. Let them. Your life was never meant to be a performance for their comfort, for their ease. And the truth is, they weren't rejecting you. I've done a video on that. There's no such thing as rejecting or rejection. They weren't rejecting you. They were threatened by your realization of who you really are. Because when one person wakes up, it forces everyone around them to consider their own trance. When you snap out of that negative trance, I promise you, everyone around you will begin reconsidering that trance that they're in. And a lot of people don't like that. It makes them uncomfortable. Videos like this make people uncomfortable. But the thing is, you don't need anyone else's permission to be real. It's not your place to make them comfortable. You don't need validation to get free. You just need the courage to choose truth, even when it's uncomfortable. You've heard me say it before, and I'm going to tell you again right here, right now, so pay close attention. You are not broken. You're not broken. You're bound. You're bound by patterns. You're bound by lies. You're bound by these negative trances. You're bound by these old loops that once served you, but now they're suffocating you. They're holding you down. They're holding you back. The good news is this bondage can be broken. You can't break it by forcing your way out, but you can break it by finally waking up and realizing. I mean, really realizing, seeing things clearly for what they are. And that's what I do. That's how I help people. I don't fix you because you're not broken. You don't need to be fixed. I help you see. And see more clearly. And once you see, you can't unsee it. So maybe today, maybe right now, is the day that you stop trying to be who they told you to be. And maybe today is the day you start becoming who you already are. How about it? Time to wake up. Time to break free. It's time to reclaim your life. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me. I hope this video has helped you. If it has, let me know in the comments. Leave me a like. And if there's any topics you want me to cover in a future video, let me know. I'll be happy to get those together. I'm working on another brutally honest meditation, and we're going to be contemplating death and the thoughts of remembering that death is a part of our reality. And so I want to put together a brutally honest meditation that we can use in that aspect. So stay tuned for that. Again, leave me a like, a comment. Subscribe to the channel if you find information like this helpful and useful. Share it with other people. I think I'm 11 or 12 people away from hitting 100 subscribers here. So thank y'all for those that are here with me on this journey. Share this channel with those that you think it might be helpful for. All right, it's a Friday. It's a sunny Friday. Get out and enjoy it. And I hope you've got some great plans for this weekend. Get out and get in the sunshine. Enjoy it. Move, 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 and enjoy. All right, see you later. Bye.